Hi, my name is the First Lady of Sports Talk. This week we are talking about the NBA, the NFL, and the Pac-Man getting knocked out. I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. The NFL draft is over, and round 2 of the NBA playoffs has begun. I'm Spitface, and I'm here with the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith. How you doing, First Lady?
I'm doing quite well. I'm like most Knicks fan. I'm on cloud 9 right now.
I forgot that First Lady is a Knickerbocker fan, and she's been a Knickerbocker fan for a long time. So she loves her some Knickerbockers, and they are whipping up booty. And it looks like we had DizzieMac sneak in on that bearskin rug, and First Lady, I think he snuck in to do to sing you a Mother's Day song.
Hey.
And hey, let me just put it like this. Smokey Robinson ain't got nothing on Dizzy, and Dizzy don't mess around with the housekeeper. So, but we ain't gonna go that way. It was available, and I had to say something. Okay, this week on Shout Out, we have performances from Monique, Massey, Jefferson. Will she find her shining star or get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you say? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Los Angeles Lakers wish they could fly far, far away from a 4-1 beatdown by the Timberwolves in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Are the Timberwolves going to win it all? Will the Lakers be better next year? Will LeBron's son be a difference maker next season or off the roster? Does the Lakers' loss say more about their future with LeBron or more about their future with Luka? George Foreman, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace to both of them. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and Steve Miller Band are asking what you saying. I mean, the Timberwolves, obviously the Timberwolves are playing the Warriors now with a injured Steph Curry. They looked horrible in the first game that Steph got injured, and they couldn't, and he got injured, and they still couldn't win the game. However, in the second game, they ran the Warriors off the court because the Warriors looked clueless without Steph. With that being said, the Timberwolves will not win it all because OKC, to me, is still the best team of the West, even though they did lose their first game against the Nuggets. Now, everybody, just for some reason, do not want to give OKC any respect, but they all year consistently have been the best team in the West. So the Timberwolves, they really had to fight to get to their positioning. I mean, they, for the most, I would say for the good 90% of the entire regular season, the Timberwolves was in the play-in, and then they had a surge at the last minute in the last part of the season that allowed them to get into, I believe they were, the 6th position? So they've been on a good little roll right now with all their players being healthy and everything. And the Timberwolves, I mean, they look good. I mean, I still think they will beat the Warriors. I mean, even though, Steph is not there, but it is, there's a potential that Steph may come back. But even with Steph, I still think the Timberwolves would beat the Warriors. I really do. I just think they're more athletic and they're a bigger team. I mean, the Warriors have to play small ball. And when teams are bigger than them, even though Houston was bigger than them, the problem with Houston, they was very inexperienced. And that's really was a downfall. And they went to 7 games. So the Wolves are bigger, more athletic. And I don't think it's going to go 7 games. I think the Timberwolves can win in 6 games. If Steph doesn't come back, they'll win in 5 games. So a lot depends on whether or not Steph Curry can play. Now transitioning to the Lakers. The Lakers, after receiving Luka in that trade, and the Lakers were playing so well at the end of the regular season, many pundits picked them to win the West. Everybody got hoodwinked except for the First Lady of Sports Talk. I wasn't hoodwinked. I still did not think the Lakers were going to win the West. Yeah, they got into the 3rd position, the 3rd seed, but they still had significant issues with their center. I mean, that was always a problem. They are not a big team. They can play excellent small ball, but when you get into the playoffs, it's a lot different. And in the regular season, they only have a short time to prepare for you. But when you're in a playoff, that's all you got to worry about is that team. You got plenty of time to play and scheme against a team that, you're playing. And that's what happened with the Lakers. The Timberwolves were able to come up with the schemes that they needed to beat them. And one of the things was to attack Luka, who is a horrible defender. And that's what they did. That's how the Celtics lost. Dallas lost to Celtics last year of Luka because Boston Celtics attacked Luka. He is not a good defender. You can blow by him with ease, and that's what happened with Luka. So, the Lakers, I think they'll be better next year. A lot will hinge on that, and we'll see. But to me, the loss was more about what this team. The loss was more about Luka to me than it was about LeBron James. It to me is everything that they really need to do at this point is build this team around Luka and not LeBron James. I don't care if LeBron is going to play for a year to 2 years later. It doesn't matter. Luka is their main concern, but also Luka has to change his way. Luka got to get better conditioning. That's what the coach said to him. J.J. Redick called him out in the post playoff conference when he did a conference. Press conference. He says his team got to get in better condition. We all know who he was talking about. He wasn't talking about LeBron James because LeBron James is always in condition. He was talking about Luka. And another thing Luka needs to work on is his defense. I mean, we don't expect him to be a spectacular defender, but just you try to get to an average. Get to being an average defender. If he's an average defender, that would go a long way. He's not even an average defender. He's horrible as a defender. And that's the problem. And, the thing is, too, with the Lakers, the fact that the Lakers were small, they didn't really have great significant center play. I mean, it was so bad. J.J. Redick, to tell you how lack of confidence he had in his starting center, Jackson Hayes, and he also had Alex Len there, he decided to go with Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber had not played a game since he was traded in February. He had broken a fractured foot, and he had surgery in February. And for some reason, J.J. Redick decided to go to him in Game 5 instead of going to Jackson Hayes or Alex Len. So, I mean, that didn't really make any sense. And they're just not athletic. So that's the reason why the the Lakers need to get more athletic, and Luka got to be in shape. The Lakers are, but they're going to be better because I think they're going to address all those issues with the center. They need a good serviceable two-way center, one who's great on the defensive end, but also one who can be athletic, take on lobs, and everything like that. I mean, Jackson Hayes can take on lobs, but he doesn't have any other offensive skills. So that's the main thing. I mean, I'm not sure if LeBron's going to stay with the team, but he obviously winding down. He's still in better shape than a lot of players. He still plays well, but you can't say that this team is LeBron's anymore. This team is definitely Luka, and they have to fit what Luka can do well. That means Luka having the ball more than LeBron having the ball. Now, regarding Bronny James, let's just face it. He'll be on the roster if LeBron still is on the team. Now, he's not going to make significant impact on the team, but if LeBron is not on the team, guarantee you, Bronny will be off the roster, and that's basically it. So Spitface, what are you saying about Luka? Is this team built for more Luka or for LeBron? First lady, right now, I would say the Lakers ain't built for nobody. They just, just out there, And I feel for the coach. I feel for the coach because this is what they've given him. Now, I do say that they can make lemonade out of this situation, out of these lemons. They can make some lemonade. And you've hit the key point, which is they need some big men. They need some big men who could play. And then the other thing that they need is that I got a suggestion for Luka. And First Lady, sometimes you have to go back in the past and you have to find what worked. You have to dust it, take it off the shelves and dust it off. And I think that there's only one man who can help Luka. One man. And he can come up out of the dust and provide what Luka needs. And that one man is brother Billy Blanks. Tybo. Luka needs some Tybo. Luka needs some Tybo. Billy, come on, Billy, help Luka out. So I'm putting out a SOS to Billy Blanks so he can bring Luka some Tybo and might learn him some defense at the same time. But keep his ass away from the Dunkin' Donuts. Luka, do not go down the Charles Barkley route. Don't do that. Big butts don't look good on white boys. Don't do it. And, so stay away from the Krispy Kremes, the Dunkin' Donuts, Billy Blanks. Billy Blanks is your buddy. So now, this, now I will say this, is that the Lakers or Lucas, it better be Lucas' team because they ain't got no future with LeBron. They have, the future they have with LeBron is playing good enough to be in the playoffs, whether it's the play-in or whatever, and then getting eliminated. And at the same time, not being able to improve their roster, because of where they're positioned in the draft. So this is paying LeBron big ass money. That it's just too much. And so we know that LeBron is not going to win another ring. He lucked up. Yeah, I'm saying it right now. He lucked up and got a ring with the Lakers. The circumstances, the moon aligned with the stars. Venus jumped over Mars, and the door opened, and LeBron took it on in. So I go good. He won it fair and square, but he was lucky.
You know, same with Tom Brady in that last Super Bowl he won. Y'all, y'all deserved it. Like sometimes you deserve a miracle. They deserve that one. So I'm good, but it was still some lucky so-and-so. But LeBron is not winning another ring, just like Tom Brady didn't win another Super Bowl. So it's time for the youth and future movement. Get Lucas, like I said, this off season. Get my man Billy Blanks on his butt and get them together. And I don't know, First Lady DizzieMac over there looked like he crunching on some Lay's potato chips.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What you got to say about this, DizzieMac?
Hey, it's like this, First Lady, and I am munching on some vinegar, salt and vinegar chips over here. And Luca, you can't have none. And that should be the motto in the off season. Luca, you can't have none. I'm talking about all the way down to his woman. You can't have none. He has to get in shape. Has to get in better shape. A whole lot better shape. LeBron, you have to get in better shape. You're gonna be counted on to still leak out, do the things, play defense, show Luka how to play right. So yeah, get in shape with him. Show him how you handle the rigors of diet and exercise. Bronny James, work out with Gabe Vincent, because that's the role you should be trying to emulate, playing like him. Defense, hitting the open shot, moving the ball, pressuring the ball up court, doing them type of things. And year 2 will help you try to get better acclimated with your role and on the court. That's what he needs to do, I think. The Timberwolves, no, they will not win at all. The Warriors are going to come back. They already got one up there in Minnesota, so they did their job. They'll go back to Minnesota 3-1. They Steve Kerr found that missing. He finally caught Jonathan Kuminga on a good day. He should have started him. Because the way he dunks on Rudy Gobert, we've been waiting for that. Don't fall behind so much early. Hold them down. And, Anthony Edwards is battling his own injury, sprained ankle. So, yeah, the Lakers will be better next year. Luka will have more of a role handling the ball. I don't think LeBron minds that. As long as he can pass along some of the minutes to Bronny, he'll be okay. He'll be all right. But no, the Timberwolves will not get out of this series alive. Golden State will show them what coming to the Bay Area is all about.
All right. Well, I disagree with you there, DizzieMac. I really think that the Timberwolves to win that series with or without Steph. But anyway, I mean, that's how I feel. They can win it. But like you said, they won't go to they won't win it all, because I don't think right now there's too many other good teams out there that can beat the Timberwolves. That's on the OKC, and I think on the east side. But anyway, so we'll see. It's going to be quite interesting, but they're going to get past the Warriors. All right, Spitface, over to you.
All right, First Lady. And don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition, I'm powered. Record shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that all get sliced and diced. Competition, paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch. Pac-Man, a.k.a. Manny Pacquiao, might still possess. Pacquiao 46 will return to challenge WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios on July 19th in Sin City, Las Vegas. Manny, 46. His opponent, Mario Barrios, is 30. Is somebody gonna get knocked out? Could Jake Paul beat a similar opponent like Mario? Is Manny actually showing more courage than a Jake Paul by taking on the best? Is this for the ego or the money? Leave voice at your page, Walter, Buck, Leonard, and my man forever, James Cool Papa Bell, are asking what you saying. When I heard this fight being announced, what stood out for me was it was not a fight with Jake Paul. I was like, okay, man, you coming out to retirement. You feel like you still got something to take. I'm thinking he's going to fight somebody, kind of like within his age range. I don't know if he can do that, but a little bit older. But, maybe somebody competitive. But, Manny badass goes say, he goes, look, I'm going to take on the WBC welterweight champ. Like, man, Manny, don't you want a couple of tune-ups or something? You could just step up there like that? And Mario Barrios is the WBC welterweight champion. He's not, he ain't trying to be the champion. He is the champion. And I'm like, Manny, So, I'm thinking, is this for the money? And I'm looking at the money. The money ain't like super, but I mean, it's nice money. I mean, hey, but they hand me that cash. So I'm like, this has got to be the ego. This has got to be the ego. Because I'm like, Manny, yo, butt go risk this guy knocking your butt out. Because it's hard to put money that you're going to knock him out, not at 46. Now you might be able to knock me out, but I don't know if you'll be able to knock this in-hell prime welterweight champion. I'm like, Manny, you might have bit off a little too many punches that you can chew there. But I do think it's about the ego. And, okay, everybody got pride. If you think you can do it, get your butt on out there. Now, Jake Paul could not beat a similar opponent. And just to be clear, whatever weight class Jake Paul is fighting, whatever weight class Jake Paul is entertaining at, so let me be clear that he's entertaining at. The champion of that weight class, like WBC, WBA, IF, whatever, but the real, like, governing bodies of boxing, like those folks, when he fights one of them, we're going to see his ass get knocked the fuck out. Because they're going to want to tear his butt up. So I think it takes a hell of a lot more courage for a 46-year-old Pac-Man to say, I think I got something in the take, and I'm going to take on the best, not a has, but I'm gonna take on the guy who got. Now I think Pac-Man crazy, but I think he got a hell of a lot more courage than a Paul. DizzieMac, think somebody gonna get knocked out?
Yes, the fans, they'll get knocked out because they'll end up paying, and as you mentioned, it's the ego, but I think it's the money more than the ego. He's had a chance to get his finances straight, and this is a good chance for him to ride off into the sunset, a multimillionaire. But Father Time waits on no one. Father Time is undefeated, and he thinks that Marquez stepped on his foot and hit him with a right, then knocked him out with his wife screaming in the first row. I think he's got a tough task ahead of Barrios, who knows nothing but fighting in the phone booth. You know, and I think it's going to be rough on Manny because it's going to be hard to move, stick and move, and not get tired. So, no, I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him not to get lumped up. He remembers how he did Oscar De La Hoya, made him put on the stool. Hey, you know, so what goes around comes around.
But Mr. Jake Paul, who do you think has more courage when it comes down to it, Manny or the Paul?
Well, no, I first of all, we need to talk about Jake Paul. I really do need like talking about Jake Paul because, yeah, Jake Paul does have the courage of Manny Pacquiao because Jake Paul, we already know, he fights older players that are well beyond their years, and he just wants – Jake Paul, you know, is not going to fight a reputable contender like Manny Pacquiao because for Jake Paul, it's all about making the money. That's all he cares about. So for some reason, people will love to go to his fights regardless of who he's fighting. And we all know he's been fighting nothing. He's been fighting duds for years. Now, Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, this is definitely about ego. I don't think he needs the money. You know, he's been in politics in Philippines for years. 4 years ago in 2021, Manny Pacquiao fought the champion at that time, Yordenis Ugas, and he lost in a unanimous decision. So now we're moving up to 4 years. He's 4 years older and 4 more years out of shape. So to be honest with you, Manny is going to get knocked out. You're right. He will be getting knocked out. Because, I mean, the man hasn't fought since 2021. So why do we expect him to be better 4 years later? It doesn't make any sense. I give much props to him. I mean, at least, like you said, Manny Pacquiao got more courage than Jake Paul because he's fighting a 30-year-old current welterweight champion. That says a lot about Manny Pacquiao. I don't know. Maybe it does say he's kind of crazy because I don't think why he wants to put himself in that particular position to fight somebody like that can really knock him out. And to be honest with you, I wish Jake Paul fight Manny Pacquiao. Of course, Jake Paul is in a cruiserweight division. Manny Pacquiao is welterweight. He would have to gain some more weight. But now he want to fight a 46-year-old out of shape person. I would see if he can fight Manny Pacquiao. I'll give him a fighting chance to beat Jake Paul. But, yeah, I don't know. This is about Manny's ego. I don't know why Manny is trying to come back. It seems like every time there's a new welterweight champion, Manny thinks he can come out of retirement and beat them. No, Manny, just stay in the politics. You've been in politics. You've been a politician in the Philippines. You should stay there. I'm quite sure he has enough money to live on. So, this is all about ego. But, I mean, Manny needs to sit down. That's all I'm going to say.
First Lady, Manny should sit down. Manny, sit your butt down. First Lady, you have the last word. Please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Monique, Massey, Jefferson on Shout Out Part 1.
Free Mr. Vine. The music flows in from around the globe. To get a shout out from the panel, First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Monique Massey Jefferson.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If you like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of Shout Out, we are featuring music from Monique Massey Jefferson out of Greenbelt, Maryland, from her hit album, Victory. They say, quote, Monique Massey Jefferson is a gospel singer-songwriter that is a fusion of neo-soul, jazz, and R&B. She grew up in the church singing with her grandmother and played a saxophone in her walk with Christ. She has found that we can't put, quote, I am in a box. All right, let's hear Victory.
For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. You give me victory. For every mountain, you brought me over. For every mountain, you helped me move. For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. You give me victory. I heard grandma say, baby, it wouldn't be so easy. Take the good with the bad, it's all to strengthen me. Jeremiah 29:11 says, he knows the plans that he has for me, not to harm, but to bring me through and prosperity. You gotta have a test to get to your testimony. He's got me in his hands. He gives me victory. For every mountain, you brought me over. For every mountain, you helped me move. For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. You give me victory. I heard grandma say, baby, it wouldn't be so easy. Take the good with the bad, it's all to strengthen me. Jeremiah 29:11 says, he knows the plans that he has for me, not to harm, but to bring me through and prosperity. You gotta have a test to get to your testimony. He's got me in his hands. He gives me victory. For every mountain, you brought me over. For every mountain, you helped me move. For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. You give me victory. Jeremiah 29:11 says, he knows the plans that he has for me. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. For every mountain, you brought me over. For every mountain, you helped me move. For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. You give me victory. Now anoint my head with oil. You give me victory. The doctors all tell me no. You give me victory. When my enemies try to destroy me, you give me victory. What? You give me victory. Lord, you give me victory. For every mountain, you brought me over. For every mountain, you helped me move. For every trial and tragedy, you give me victory. You give me victory.
I think we had a little sound issue. Is the First Lady back?
Guys, no, I'm back. Yes, that was Victory from Monique Massey Jefferson. So Spitface, are you going to hit the mute button or are you going to shout it out?
I'm going to shout it out, but I do have some critique. And part of it is that I can tell Monique has a lot of talent, but the message I think was a little too redundant, and it kind of put a squash. It's like I think she want to do an Ella Fitzgerald, and like you can kind of get she got that, and it's like let me suppress it to make the message fit. And I'm just gonna say, Monique, you should sing your victory and then praise the Lord. But let us know what your victory was. You had to have gone through something for there to be victory. And I think if you express that whatever it was and now there's victory, then we can hear you and we can get the message that you're trying to deliver. But and sometimes you put a little too much in the sound. Sometimes simpler is clearer, and it just works. You ain't got to have everything in it. As they say, you ain't got to have everything in the gumbo.
Okay.
But I'm giving a shout out for the spirit.
Okay, for the spirit. Now, I'm going to shout it out. She has a strong voice. I kind of understand what you're saying. I mean, the song, I don't know if I really care too much for the production of the song, more so than her voice. Maybe that's where you were heading at, about the production of it. But her voice was strong, and I don't know. It seemed like the whole music along with her voice seemed it could have been a little bit better mixing to me. I guess that's the point I wanted to send. But I want to shout it out because her voice, she has a very, very strong voice. So I'm going to shout it out. That was more of a gospel song. So she does sing. She tried to fuse the R&B. So I would like to see how she would sound in a straight R&B song. So we'll see. Actually, she will be on the part 2. So we'll see how she does with part 2 of.
Well, I wouldn't mind hearing her just do
she got me speechless. But anyway, she got me speechless.
I wouldn't mind hearing her do a straight gospel, but a straight something.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we'll see. Our part 2 of Shadow will feature another performance by Monique Massey Jefferson. Is that the sound of my favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
No one you see is smarter than you. And we swimmer, missing on purple, flying them all, under the sea.
Oh, yeah, it's time for Flip It, while hosts defend the point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. So let's see what we got over here. Okay, the NFL draft is over, as well as the Shedeur Sanders drama. We wonder, will he be the steal of the draft after all is said and done? Defend. Cleveland finally got lucky. Look for Shedeur to start in the middle of the season and have the Browns playoff bound. First Lady, Shedeur, by all measures, should have been the second quarterback taken in the draft. And whatever the, quote, reasons, whatever happened, fate, the fickle finger, conspiracy, whatever the hell it was, that did not happen. But that doesn't mean that again, by all measures, he should have been the second quarterback taken in the draft. The Browns have gotten the quarterback wrong almost forever. And when they finally got it right, didn't say perfect, just right. What did they do? The first winning quarterback that they had since for almost forever comes in, he's winning. You're going to kick him to the curb for the potential of a quarterback who got some issues. So they get rid of him. And where did things go from there? Downhill. So, and before they got him, they had picked quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. It was like they could get the one that was, hey, that's a sure shot, and that person wouldn't win. So you finally get a quarterback that got your team winning. You might get rid of them down the line, but if they winning, you look, winning. That's the thing, winning. So Shador got talent. And now you have put him in a situation where he just got to be the number 3 to make the team. He doesn't have to be the number 2, doesn't have to be the number 1. He just needs to be the number 3. And, and be there to quote, be groomed. And Shador is in this situation where, guess what? Cleveland ain't got no line. So now them other dudes can take them sacks. Shador ain't got to worry about it. But by the middle of the season, Shador Sanders will be starting because it'll be, hey, we might as well play him and see what he can do. And that fickle finger of fate and some time, riding that time, make you think, have you focus. Might have you drop the entourage and get that your daddy is a Hall of Famer. Yours is yet to be proved. So, First Lady, the Browns got lucky with Shador. He will play, get them into the playoff. As a matter of fact, DizzieMac, Shador, the Browns got lucky, and he will get them into the playoffs. Please, Dizzie.
Oh, well. It was strategy at its best, and Cleveland has been known that's where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is. That's the place on the shore, and they got lucky, strategizing where to pick, or how Shador fell with the pick. Now, it makes no sense other than picking him right after the left-hander from Oregon. They picked him right after. So they knew we can get Shador, who is a better first-round talent in the 5th round. He'll be able to grasp the offense because he's going to be a gym rat. He's going to sign early. He's going to be in Cleveland. He's going to be a gym rat. He's going to be all over that playbook. And you have Deion. You have plenty of uncles, not family uncles, but uncles who are from the league who will help him dissect what he's reading, and he'll be able to digest it and manifest it on the field. But yeah, they looked and said, hey, we could throw some money at him, a signing bonus, and that's all we need to do. But yes, they came out of there smelling like a rose. And Joe Flacco getting killed by the rush, having to sit out one game, he'll be like Wally Pip and Lou Gehrig. Shador Sanders to go in there and never give up that starting spot. he'll be the toast of Cleveland. Because them Cavaliers sure ain't doing
it. All right. Okay, DizzieMac. First lady, the Browns got lucky with Shedeur. He will play and get them into the playoffs.
Yeah, they definitely got lucky. Well, he waited to the 5th round for them to get lucky. But usually when you're a 5th round quarterback, you're not going to be expected to start right away. So that's why Shedeur will not be starting right away. As a matter of fact, they're in minicamp now, and Shedeur wasn't even the first quarterback to do the throws. It was Dylan Gabriel, who was drafted before Shedeur. Now, the Browns, obviously, we know the Browns got a jam lot at quarterback. They got Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, who's injured, who probably is not expected to play this year, and then they got the 2 rookies. So I either see Flacco or Pickett starting, and then they'll transition to Shedeur because he's going to prove that he has the better chance as a starter than, let's say, Gabriel. Because we all know Joe Flacco is not going to do well. Matter of fact, they didn't even try to trade Joe Flacco before the season. And we all know what Kenny Pickett brings. He didn't bring too much with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then he was the Steelers, and then he got, I think they waived him, and he went with, I want to say, was it the Eagles? He actually won a championship with the Eagles. Kenny Pickett did, but he became the backup for the Eagles. But he's moved on now to Browns. So there's a lot of positioning in that quarterback spot. But Shedeur will prove that he is the better pick to be the starter during the middle of the year. Like I said, even though Gabriel was taken, Shedeur has always been a better prospect on most of the experts' list. We were shocked that, the Browns didn't get him earlier. And why Gabriel before Shedeur, nobody knows that. Only the Browns could explain that. But, it's definitely going to be a slow start for Shedeur, which is expected. I mean, he's going to be able to watch for a while, whoever that starting quarterback is going to be. Like I said, it's either going to be Flacco or Pickett. And he'll learn that position, learn the playbook, and then next thing you know, Shedeur will take over in the middle of the season. And, it's going to show why he was considered a number 2 prospect. I don't know what happened in the draft, why this man dropped down to the 5th round. We don't know why. I mean, there's been a lot of speculation as to why he dropped. Nobody seems to want to give a definitive answer. All of the general managers are being tight-lipped all of a sudden. There's been some anonymous conversation, people saying some things, there was attitude issue, but, that's still no reason not to pick somebody. But Shedeur's going to prove them all wrong. He will. He's going to be surprisingly good. And the fact that they didn't put him in right away, I think is going to bode well for him, and he's going to get the Browns in the mix for the playoffs. To definitely get them in the mix for the playoffs.
All right. Let's flip it. He will play, but will not make much of a difference until it's too late. Shedeur Sanders, I believe, is the future franchise quarterback, but if not the Cleveland Browns, 18. Now, Shedeur, currently the Browns have 5 quarterbacks. They are not going to start the season with 5 quarterbacks. They're going to start the season with 3, and one of them will be Shedeur Sanders. And the Browns are just the kind of team that once the wheels fall off, they stretch things out. So Flacco more than likely will get the start because I think he's getting paid a little bit more than Kenny. So he's going to get the start. And the thing about Flacco is that he has had the one malady that, you know, when they speak of father time, see, there are little maladies you get with father time. Father time will just go, you know, it may occur like, oh, man, overnight they suddenly started breaking down. Oh, no, you break it down all along, you know. And one of the maladies for a quarterback is when you get stone feet. See, stone feet disease means your butt can't move around too fast. And the defenses start licking their chops because they go, he can't run around too fast, but we can. So they trying to bust up in there on you. They're going to let Flacco get smacked around. But the thing is, Flacco's good enough where they can, if they play mediocre or teams equal to them, they can pull out a win. So he's going to stay in there for a while. And then what's going to happen is that it's going to be a moment for Kenny to come in because something happens with Flacco, and they're going to let him play a while. And he will produce kind of mediocre results. And then toward the end of the season, when they're thinking about firing the coach, they'll say, we might as well let Shador start learning. And that's just kind of the attitude of the Browns. The Browns will not take the attitude of, you know what, we need to, you know, after 4 games, you know, we need to go ahead and put him in and start preparing. You got enough. No, they will wait to the bitter end when it's like we ain't got nothing to lose and put him in. So that's more so on the Browns as an organization than Shador. You know, Shador is going to do his thing, and all he got to do is sit back, learn that playbook, you know, and just be ready. But you're going to be sitting a while because the Browns, you know, as I think I said, I have a winning quarterback for the first time in a century, and I want to get him. I think this other guy with all these issues is our salvation. That's all I got to say, First Lady. What you saying on that?
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, yes, Shador will prove in training camp that he will be the quarterback that shows the ability to start from day one. I mean, it's going to be difficult because of the depth of all the quarterbacks in camp. But even though, you know, I still believe they will make some trades to particularly Joe Flacco, and I just don't see him starting. And I still think Shador can beat out Kenny Pickett, because we all know what Kenny Pickett can do. Not much. We found that out, what he can do with the Steelers. The Steelers picked him number 1, and he could not perform well. Didn't do well at all as the number 1 quarterback. So I think Shador will become that number 1 quarterback because he's just built for that. He's very accurate. He can stay back in the pocket. Like I said, he has all the traits that you want a starting quarterback to have. You want a starting quarterback to be accurate. Shador Sanders is very accurate. You want a starting quarterback that can stay in the pocket and throw the pass. He can do that. He's a pocket throwing quarterback. That's what you want for an NFL quarterback. Now, does he have the athletic skills of a what's his name? Anyway, from the Buffalo Bills? No. Does he have the athletic quickness of a Lamar Jackson? No. But he's not a stiff back there. I mean, that's one thing. He's still got some ability to move around into the pocket. So, you know, this is what I didn't understand why he dropped to the 5th round. It made absolutely no sense for him. He should have been second quarterback taken, and the Browns got lucky because they didn't get him at a cheap level in the 5th round. So it's all about what they're going to pay him. But guess what? He's going to survive, and he's going to come up on top, and he's going to be their starting quarterback from day one, and he's going to propel them into the playoffs because you got to keep in mind they got a great defense. Their defense still is decent, and they just need to work on their offense, and Shador will bring some stability for them, and he will lead them as the starting quarterback, and they will definitely get into the playoffs.
All right. First lady. And DizzieMac. The Browns got lucky with Shador. He will play and get them into the playoffs. Defend.
Shador will rise to the top. Cream always rises to the top. And he will play, he will battle, he will do just what the AFC, the South or the AFC Midwestern division will always do. They'll flip-flop and battle and somehow get 3 teams into the playoffs. And they'll probably grab that last spot. But he's going to have to depend on his wide receivers. They got to get off the line and press coverage. They going to have to get to the spots because he's going to throw and be accurate to the spots, and they're going to have to be there and get their heads around to be able to meet that ball because it's coming. And the only reason is the line. They're in running backs because they're going to blitz them almost every play. The defensive coordinators are going to blitz a rookie quarterback 9 out of 10 times. So he's going to have to try to swim through that pressure. He's going to have to swim upstream when it's coming at him. So it's going to be hard. Again, he just has to be able to move within a 5-yard circumference to be able to get the ball out and catch them while they're separating just a little bit. He cannot throw late because if he throws late, the defense is yelling cookies, and that's the interception. But he will be able to lead them and limp into that last playoff spot and be able to say that, hey, and I say it loudly, give me some help.
The Browns got lucky with Shador, as DizzieMac said, and they will get them into the playoffs. They got a number 1 pick. But this is flipping, so we're going to flip the script. He will play, but will not make much of a difference until it's too late. So he will play, but not make much of a difference until it's too late. DizzieMac defend.
Cleveland has really painted themselves into a corner because they're going to want to try to play Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and by the time Shador gets his turn at bat, it's going to be too late. He'll put them on a spot where fans will be wishing they had played him sooner. He has all the skills. He has what he needs. And now, since they paid Myles Garrett all that money, the defense will try to keep them in some games. But they end up playing them too late. They'll try to say, hey, Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and they'll try to hold it together like that. But Shadur get a chance a little bit too late this year to really prove that he's the one they should build and put pieces around to help. So I think he'll be just a little bit too late of an add-on to their season to really, really make a difference.
Just a little bit too late. And what's going to happen is that Flacco's going to win a couple of games. And if he wins a couple of games, then we need to keep him going. But we know Cleveland, a dumb team. First Lady, they got lucky getting him cheap, but that's all for next season, even if he plays.
Yeah, he definitely will play, but yeah, they'll make a decision. It'll be later when they know they're not ready to win the playoffs. That's usually when they'll put him in, and by that time, it is to play him. He's going, he deserved to go earlier and play earlier, but being the fact that he's the fifth person on their list, and he was drafted in the fifth round, he's not going to play right away. It'll be a while before he'll play. There's other people in front of him. It's Flacco, there's Kenny Pickett, and there's Gabriel. So, he just won't play right away, and it's going to be too late. He's going to be cheap because, like I said, you drafted in the fifth round, they don't have to play you. So, but that's just part of the course of the NFL. That it's a numbers game, and unfortunately for Shadur, he's going to have to prove himself because he got drafted so late, and there's not that much expectation about him. So they're just going to throw him in late, and by that time, they'll prepare him for the following season. So this season is going to be a wrap. It's definitely going to not make a difference. It'll just be too late.
It will just be too late, too little, too late for the Cleveland Browns. All right. Well, First Lady, with that said, over to you for more Flip It.
Okay. In the Clippers loss to the Nuggets, we saw another case of the discipline Harden in Game 7. Is Harden simply overrated and nothing more than a stat machine? Spitface defend. Harden is being blamed when the team as a whole lost the series.
Yeah, when I look at, especially when I look at Game 7, it's hard for me to blame Harden when his scoring wasn't there, but he did contribute with a ton of it. So I'm like, Harden, I think unfortunately has been the beneficiary of being on teams that just didn't have it all together. They lacked something. He was overcompensating for that, and that's part of the problem. Well, I can make up for what the fourth man and the fifth man can't do. When really you need that fourth or fifth man. That's just how it is. And you probably need the sixth man. And in the teams he's went to, they either the bench was weak or the fourth, fifth, and sixth men really weren't all that good. And it looks like when he gets to those 7 games, he turns into he disappears. But it's just that at that point, everybody's like, these scrubs ain't doing nothing, so we're going to just focus on Hart. So I don't think that he can be blamed. The team, even Michael Jordan, needed a team, even Michael Jordan. So you know, I don't think he should be blamed for the loss.
All right. You don't think he should be blamed. All right. DizzieMac, should Harden be blamed or the whole team itself should have lost the series?
This is a hard one, First Lady. This was a hard one because I really thought that this series will go differently after the Game 5. After Game 5, I mean, they just have not a good team around them. I think they're two scores away from maybe adding what they need. They need a stretch four. They need a stretch four who's able to stretch the floor and allow Ty Lue to put in some things that will help alleviate situations as they become obvious. So I think they really need two scores. Two. You know, I mean, he's being blamed, but I think if you really, really look at it, it's more than it's the team on this one, you know. But you know, I just think that Father Time is undefeated, so you got to build around the team and put in strategically some people who could get you answers when you're searching for them throughout the game. So, yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm going to put it this way. James Harden, single-handedly kept the Clippers in contention when Kawhi was injured. And, you know, it wasn't just James had issues when the series got tight, but he was the, he wasn't the only one who had issues with this series. I mean, yeah, he's a stat machine. People feel that, you know, he hasn't done well in Game 7, but, you know, it wasn't just him. I mean, Norman Powell didn't play well. And I also got to blame Coach. I don't think he coached well in that final game. You know, he changed his starting lineup for some unknown reason. He took Chris Dunn out and put Derek Jones in. I mean, to me, that caused a major problem because Chris Jones is a bona fide point guard. So the way he did, he left only having James Harden as a person to bring up the ball. You know, I thought Chris Dunn did a good job defensively. Also, Derek Jones, you know, is a slasher more than he is an outside shooter. So I just don't think in general as a whole the Clippers did a great job in that last game. I mean, they seemed like once they got down, they just didn't have the fight to get back up or whatever. And I just think, you know, even though James Harden didn't score much, he still did other things in that game. And, you know, Kawhi did come to play, but Zubac needed to play better. Like I said, Norman Powell needed to play better, and the coach needed to coach better. So you can't blame James Harden for everything, even though, you know, he's going to be targeted because it's going to be another Game 7 that his team lost, and he didn't put up a lot of points. But you can't blame James Harden. Definitely not. It was the entire team that lost that series and particularly lost the Game 7. All right, but we're going to flip the script. Harden didn't have the scoring, but he had assists. What was everybody else doing except Kawhi? Let me read that. Harden didn't have the scoring, but he had assists.
First Lady, I think First Lady, I think the flip it is, let's flip it. James Harden would never get a ring.
Okay. You're right. Sorry about that. Let's flip it. James Harden will never get a ring, but for all the smack talk that he's the system. DizzieMac defend.
I have to say this. You know, Spitface, you wore out James Harden down there in Houston. Wore him out. Hanging out, drinking Hennessy, Khloe Kardashian, eating at all the swankiest places. And he wasted them years down there when he was doing all things. Scoring, rebound, assists. He was leading the league. But I think over time, some of these players in that era and that kind of era turn out to be one thing. I'm gonna put Harden. I'm gonna put James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving in this one hot air balloon and let the ropes go. They are coach killers. They are coach killers. You know, that each one can be labeled as a coach killer, and they will not. Durant was lucky. Kyrie was lucky that they got the rings when they got them, because they tend to not work on their games to the point. I mean, Kyrie always want to dribble, always want to, make the tough shot. But when have you seen Kyrie get 10 or more assists in a game? Kevin Durant, when have you ever seen them have a stat line, 12 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists, 5 blocks? James Harden, it's been a long time since you put up the monster numbers. And when they can't do it, they go to chirping like a sour grape, to use the line of yours, First Lady, sour grapes. I liken them to be like our old pal, old school, R.I.P., need to grows. They some need to grows still. At this age and as long as they've been playing, they need to grow. He would not win a title. He will retire bitter, sipping on them sour grapes and still being a need to grow. But Spitface, I got the pictures of y'all hanging out down there in Houston. No, you know it. You know I got those pictures. But no.
All right.
No.
All right, Spitface, defend. James Harden will never get a ring for all his smack talk that he's the system.
There is an old saying, there is no I in team. And James Harden has missed that lesson forever. When you play on a team where you have Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, and y'all can't win a championship, that says something about all of y'all, but especially James Harden, because he was the first to leave, and he was the first to get what he wanted. The Rockets gave him what he wanted. James Harden, I'm the system here. Okay, I need these kind of players. Okay, we're going to get you these kind of players, James. But when it was all said and done, they didn't even get a dinner. They didn't even get a dinner. And wherever he's went since the Rockets, it just ain't exactly turned out too good. Still ain't got a dinner. And for some of the teams, they didn't get as close as the Rockets got for James Harden to all of a sudden disappear. And First Lady, I think the Clippers got some decisions to make. And one of them is that is James Harden what they really need? Or do they need to look at, just kind of look at what the future is going to be? Because if it's going to be, if it's James Harden is that piece that can get us into the big dance and we can win it, then, you know, if you feel it's that way, but I ain't seeing it. And the bearded one can talk all he wants. Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring. That's what I'm saying, First Lady.
Yep, don't mean a thing if you're right about that. Well, you know, history is not kind to James Harden. I mean, he has lost a Game 7 with 4 different teams, the Rockets, the Nets, the Sixers, and now the Clippers. Now, his average in Game 7 is 19.3 points, 7.9 assists, and 5.7 rebounds, which sounds great for most people, but not for James Harden, who has higher numbers during the regular season. I mean, his record in Game 7 right now is 3-4. But you say, okay, well, maybe that's not that bad. Yeah, but what's bad is he has lost the last 3 Game 7, and I believe it was 3 out of 4. And more importantly, his last 2 Game 7s, he's only scored 7 points when this particular time around against Denver. And when he was with the Nets, he scored 9 points against Boston. I mean, not when he was in the Nets, when he played with the Sixers. He only scored 9 points, which was a catastrophe because they also got blown out in that game. So James Harden, when it comes to Game 7, he's not great at all. He comes up very short in these games. And that's, you know, he is the system, but the system is broken in Game 7. Now, during the regular season, the man can play. So, like you said, Spitface, they got a lot of decisions because he is up for a contract renewal. More than likely, he will sign another contract with the Clippers because at this point in time, they don't have any draft picks. So they really, like, who are they going to be able to get at this point in time to be that Batman to Kawhi? So they got to rely on James Harden, who will continue to have a great, wonderful season, regular season. You got to pray that Kawhi can play the entire season again. Like he didn't play the entire season this year, but he came on strong. So hopefully he can stay healthy. But, you know, they have no choice. They got to go with what they got to go with. So, but that system is definitely broken. All right, Spitface, please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Monique, Massey, Jefferson on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All right. On the second part of shout out, we are featuring more music from Monique, Massey, Jefferson. Let's hear I'm So Grateful. I'm so grateful.
Things you've done for me, I'm so grateful. easy, but it's working for your good if you only believe. I'm so grateful for the things you've done for me. I'm so grateful for the things you've done for me. I'm so grateful for the things you've done for me. I'm so grateful, so grateful.
All right, that was I'm So Grateful. First Lady, what's the verdict?
I'm going to shout it out. I think I said, I think she has a very strong voice. It was very quick and short. These songs are getting quicker and quicker by the minute. I guess gone are the days where you hear long songs. But I guess they just want to hit it and quit it. But anyway, I'm going to shout out. And, you know, she has a strong voice, so I'm shouting out the song.
Okay, and hey, don't forget when we had them old 45s, those songs weren't long. Talk about hitting it. Them songs like 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
They were about 3 minutes long. They were about 3 minutes. They were longer than these songs that we did.
All right, DizzieMac, what's the first?
I'm going to give it a shout out.
All right.
Shouting it out.
You shout. All right. DizzieMac giving it a shout out. Now, I'm hitting the mute button. And I'm hitting the mute button because the production was, like, terrible. And I'm straining to hear her over the background music. And it's like she's muted. And because when I'm listening, it's like, oh, she kind of reminds me of Randy Crawford. And I was heading all the way to Rio de Janeiro Blues, you know, not even though the song, but it was like, oh, I could get that. But the background music was just so kind of over her voice that, it, you know, I got to mute it. I got to mute it. But as I said, Monique, stop hiding behind the music. Go ahead and blow, girl. We can tell. First Lady said you got a strong voice, so just go ahead and blow. Just go ahead and blow. Sing that song. All right. Well, that is the end of shout out. You can check out Monique Massey Jefferson on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks through talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. If you send them to any other of our emails, they will not forward them. They will delete them. You must send it to talent. First Lady, over to you.
All right. Well, it's time for the top story of the day, of the week, I mean. Spitface, what is your top story of the week?
Well, the story I'm watching this week is... Before we get to your top story, Spitface, just want to mention that we have everyone's hardwood picks. We started with brackets, and the second round we'll have updates and prop bets next week. All right, so now get to your top story to watch this week. Is Steph Curry. Will he come back in time to help the Warriors?
All right. DizzieMac, what's your top story to watch?
Hey,
DizzieMac?
It's gonna make you mad, First Lady, but I see 2 wins for the Celtics.
All right. Well, my top story is on Monday is the NBA draft lottery. That's where dreams are made, where you can decide who is going to get the number 1 pick. So we'll see if San Antonio gets it 2 years in a row because they have a fighting chance to get it. So anyway, that's my top story. Just wanted to say many women athletes gave testimony in front of Congress this past couple of days in part of the Doge that Donald Trump committee, Doge, they're looking at keeping biological men out of women's sports. You know, this is a continued debate whether transgender women should be allowed to perform in women's sports. And they had a lot of testimony because they want to continue to keep biological men out of women's sports. So we will see how that continues, whether they're going to continue to have federal regulations, which I believe they already have federal regulations. But, you know, they had a big Congress, you know, a big meeting. A lot of people went and testified. All right. Check out our current and previous episodes at PantiesandSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, along with Spitface and DizzieMac on the Ben Carson. Their chin run. You have been listening to Panties and Sports.